Hello, I am Kelly with the Collierville Literacy Council, and during Mental Health Awareness Month in May, we're reaching out to the community with important information about mental health. Today, we are very lucky to have Tonja Bizor with us. She is a certified child sleep consultant who helps parents teach their children healthy sleep habits. Specifically, she works with children ages 3 months to 3 years old to help them sleep 12-hour uninterrupted nights. She develops customized sleep plans for parents to follow and offers one-on-one coaching with families. Tonja has assisted over 100 families get away from sleep deprivation to enjoy sleep-filled nights. In addition to private coaching, she also offers group seminars and public speaking. Tonja completed her master's degree in psychology with an emphasis in clinical counseling. With her background in mental health, she focuses on the prevention of sleep deprivation and how the lack of sleep has a negative impact on mental health. She studied under Dana Obelman and achieved her sleep coaching certification with the Sleep Sense program. Tonja has been featured in magazines and websites like Romper, Military One Click, Birmingham Parent Magazine, and Dr. Laura. She was a guest on the daytime local television show Talk of Alabama on ABC 33/40. Tonja, welcome. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me. I enjoy talking to folks about sleep and good mental health.
Excellent. Well, I know there is a huge connection between the two, and we are so grateful to have you here to share your expertise with the community today during Mental Health Awareness Month. Can you start out by just telling us a little bit about your background and what drew you to this profession in the first place?
Sure. So I went to undergrad and then got my graduate degree in master's in psychology with emphasis in clinical counseling on the intent of becoming, a licensed therapist and working with the mental health population. So I did work in the population of mental health for a couple years. I actually ended up joining the Army and went active duty, deployed, and then when I came back, got out of active duty after getting married, having some kids, and I started to, after having kids, started to experience this thing called sleep deprivation. And so I noticed that I was changing, and my husband, he was kind of like, "Are you okay?" Like, he was always asking if I was okay. And, I didn't realize that being up with the baby and not catching up my sleep with naps and such would affect me so much. I just kind of did it because I thought it was normal to do, And so after, with my second child, after about a whole year actually of being sleep deprived, I just started noticing in myself that I was highly irritable, very moody, just not able to complete a thought because I would forget kind of what the conversation was about, not able to read books because I couldn't remember the couple pages that I read, and just kind of being very forgetful in that aspect. And I kind of put it together when talking with some other moms about sleep, and that's when someone told me about sleep coaches, and I was like, well, what's that? And so I researched it a little bit, and that's when I found the Sleep Sense program. I did the program with my son, who was about to turn 1, and that was his 1-year-old birthday present. You're going to sleep 12 hours for me. I didn't realize he would do it, in 2 weeks. I didn't think it would happen. He just wasn't sleeping at all, like for his whole life, for that whole year. And so when he eventually, after the program, he went to sleep so good, I was like, oh my goodness, everyone needs to know about this. So that's when I joined Dana's team, and I got trained and certified, and that's when I thought, wow, the connection between the sleep deprivation and then your mental health is huge. I mean, it's very prominent. It's very there, and it's so easily to miss too. It's so easy to just say, "Oh, well, this is just temporary," or, um, you know, if you're not in tune with yourself, and you kind of just keep going day to day, and you don't realize that you're changing. Your personality, your mood. People kind of ask you, "Are you okay?" You kind of not yourself, and so that's kind of how I came across becoming a sleep coach and helping families because I experienced it myself, and I just wanted to have that reprieve for families, have a place to go and a person to help them get their babies to sleep so that they can sleep.
That is wonderful. I think there's probably a lot of people who can relate to that. I know I can personally. I have two children, and one of them slept through the night at 6 to 8 weeks old. The other one didn't sleep through the night for 2 years. So I understand the sleep deprivation, and it definitely does. It brings you down. It saps your energy. It makes you irritable. It makes you depressed, I think, in some cases, like you said. So it's such an important topic to think that a person is getting a healthy amount of sleep so that they can function during the day. Tell me how you help your clients achieve that. I'm sure every family is a little bit different, but take me through the process of kind of what you do with a client when they come to you for help.
Yeah, so basically, I kind of do what I call like an analysis. So I'll kind of gather information from each family. Like you said, every baby is not exactly the same, but as we look at human beings, we all have some kind of commonality, right? We have our bodies, we have a sleep rhythm, our clock, our sleep clock, uh, it pretty much does the similar thing for everybody. Maybe there's a little bit of individual variance in that, but um, I kind of look at what, symptoms the baby has. So a lot of times parents will say, well, I have to hold him or rock him or her to sleep to get them to sleep. And then when I put them, as soon as they go to sleep, they're fine. And I put them in the crib, and it's like all of a sudden it's like, they wake up crying, screaming, and they don't understand what happened. And so that's like the common one. Um, Parents who, a lot of parents don't understand that. They understand babies wake up early in the morning, but they don't understand that you have to get them to bed early at night. Like they can't stay up till 8, 9 o'clock, like we can, because we don't need 12 hours of sleep. They need 12 hours of sleep. So basically, I kind of get a gist of what's going on, how the baby is reacting or child is reacting to the sleep situation. Are they are they having a difficult time going to sleep? Are they having a lot of wake ups in the night? Are they waking up too early in the morning, like 3 or 4 in the morning, to start their day? I kind of look at those aspects. Those are kind of the three major key points that we work on. And so after I get the information from the family, I kind of figure out what approach we need to take to help getting the child to learn those individual sleep skills, learn to fall asleep independently. And that's basically what we do, is help the child to learn to fall asleep independently. And so, there's lots of sleep approaches out there for children. The American Pediatric Society, they have, they have on their website ways that you can get your child to go to sleep and learn how to sleep independently. So basically, in a safe way, you have to make sure it's safe. Babies can only sleep on their backs, that kind of thing. So I kind of get the approach of how I'm going to help the family, and then we have kind of another consult where we talk for like an hour, and we go through the method of how exactly the step by steps of what we're going to do. And then the important thing is to keep the same rhythm going, the same kind of build a behavior pattern, like a new pattern, because right now, if the child is not sleeping, they have that pattern that they're using. So they cry, mom comes get me, and then I go in bed with mom. Right? So that's like their pattern. They're like,
And then mom doesn't sleep for the rest of the night.
yes. And then mom doesn't sleep because a lot of kids don't sleep quietly. Experts suggest that co-sleeping is not safe. But it's up to the family on what they want to do. But um, I help families make sure that they have the child sleeps independently in their own room, in their own bed. So it's a great feeling when, I mean, if you think about it, when you sleep in your own bed and you get that quality sleep at night, and if when you're by yourself, you fall asleep, you're good, you sleep through the night, there's no interruptions. But when you become an adult and then you get married, and then that first couple of nights, you're kind of like, you're waking up because it's like somebody's moving, like you have disruptions, right? There's disruption. You got to get
Right.
used to it. You got to get used to it. So having your own space, your own quiet space, as far as children go, in their own bed, that kind of thing, it's really helpful in their development of getting that independent sleep skill. And so I work with the family for about 2 weeks, and we get the desired results within those 2 weeks, which is a 12-hour sleep, depending on the age, and then the naps, the appropriate amount of naps depending on their age. So that's pretty much it. What I do, and I work with the family until we get the desired results, the goals that we set forth in the beginning.
Well, that is wonderful. So you see really good outcomes with these families. Tell me a little bit about, the successes that you're able to achieve with them.
Oh yes, it's so rewarding when when you first talk to a mom. I had a mom that called me. Her baby was 3.5 months, and she was just, I mean, a wreck. Like she was crying on the phone. She thought she was harming her baby because she couldn't get the baby to sleep, and she wasn't sleeping, and she just wasn't coping well with with sleep deprivation. And her husband, he was trying to help as best as he can, but at that point she had become so anxious about it that even when it was her husband's turn to take the night shift, she was still waking up. She could still hear the baby. It's just, she was just kind of on, pins and needles, just kind of not, just very highly anxious. So after helping them, for a couple of weeks, really in the first week is when we see a lot of breakthrough, that waking up every hour or waking up every 2 hours really goes away in the first week. And we fine tune the 12-hour sleep in the next week. So when the child did their first 12 hours, I mean, mom looked totally different. She was smiling on the phone. She was just, elated. And she was just, I'm going to tell everybody because this is, And then a year later, she had her second child, and she just called me right away. She's like, I already know. He's like, this child is also not sleeping. And she wasn't crying at that point. Because she knew how to reach out to me and reach out for help. So we got the second baby sleeping well. And, she was just, I mean, she still emails me to this day. And she's like, we love you, we miss you, and the babies are sleeping well, and it's all because of you, kind of thing. And it's just really rewarding to see, the transformation in the parent when they're truly sleep deprived, and then when they actually get sleep. And, it's just great. I've had parents, what I really like to see is parents that work as a team, where the dad is also involved, and he's also, getting sleep deprivation because, they're sharing that responsibility. And I have a lot of clients who both parents are involved. We sit and have a meeting. We get the child sleeping, and they tell me, hey, you made our marriage better. because, now we have our time at night. The baby's not up till midnight. And we put the baby to bed at 7. We go and we watch a movie, eat popcorn, drink wine, and we have our alone time. We have our intimacy time. And, the baby's just fine. He or she is asleep, and they wake up 12 hours later at 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. And the baby's happy, and we're happy as a family now, because we're all getting sleep. So it's really rewarding to see the transformation in the families at such a short amount of time.
No, that's remarkable when you describe, the difference between someone who feels so anxious that they can't sleep, even if a partner is helping get up with the baby, to, someone who can sit on the couch with a bowl of popcorn and a glass of wine and enjoy some movies, like you kind of get your life back. It's been interesting to me as you've been talking. You've used words like anxiety and stress and inability to function. Tell me a little bit more about that link between sleep or sleep deprivation and a person's mental health.
Yes, so there are lots of studies, and when I look up studies to share on Instagram or Facebook or with the community, I always go to the peer-reviewed journals, and those journals, they're peer-reviewed because they're reviewed by other professionals, so medical professionals, PhD psychologists, all those accredited agencies that back these journals. So just so I don't go to like Wiki or WebMD, something like that. I go to actual articles that are written by folks who've done quality research that's been QA/QC'd by organizations, like psychological organizations, medical journal, medical associations. And so when I go through those journals and I look through, okay, what are some of these things that they're seeing when people aren't sleeping well, whether it's a short period of time or prolonged period of time. And so looking just quickly at like the medical things, when you have sleep deprivation, some of the common side effects medically, you've got the cold. You're more likely to catch the flu if you're not sleeping more than 4 hours a night. Irritability, high blood pressure, headaches, migraines, weight gain. Weight gain is a huge one. They did a really good study on that, and it showed that the lack of sleep is a direct link to weight, because it affects the hormones in that aspect. Heart disease. When you look at like mental health, you look at like prolonged sleep deprivation, and they're finding that you're at greater risk for depression, anxiety, irritability, mood swings, those kind of things. And so that's why sleep is something that is really, so there's some advocates of sleep out there that feel like sleep is definitely in its own right, like a pandemic, like sleep deprivation, and that it's tearing us apart. On the extreme side, it's like a pandemic, it's tearing us apart, it's ruining things, because in America, we don't like taking vacations. We work, 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 work. Mm-hmm. And if you take a vacation from your job, it's like, oh, you're taking a break. I mean, I don't need a break. I'm tough, right?
Right.
But
Absolutely.
If you go to Canada, if you go to Australia, Europe, they take holiday, and it's like 2-3 weeks. Okay, I mean, they value the rest period because they work hard. We all work hard. And so in this research, they're saying that when you're sleeping well, you're able to better think, you're able to learn, you're able to have quality memory. And those 3 things are important in everyday aspects, even on the job. Like you could be, if you're not thinking well and you're not learning, or your memory's bad, you're going to have a poor job performance, so this is affecting your job. You go out on the road and you're driving and you're sleep deprived, you have a very high chance of getting in a car accident, and then you've got your family relation. If you've got an irritable mood and you don't, you're snapping at people, your family dynamic. So sleep is literally affecting your job, your home, your travel to and from home. Um, they're also finding that the sleep facilitates the brain's processing of emotional information. I mean, yeah, mood, your mood is all over the place when you're not sleeping. Lack of sleep can induce or exacerbate depression, and it can activate anxiety for people who are at a higher risk for anxiety. So they're finding, these links between sleep deprivation and mental health, and they're getting the word out there. They're trying to get the word out there um, with with the community and with everyone. But there's a lot of research about sleep, and lack of sleep. It's all bad. Like lack of sleep is just not good for anyone, right? And then prolonged lack of sleep can cause some, definitely some serious issues on the mental health side and the medical side. So, it's a big deal.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think we can all relate on, some level of just how we feel after a sleepless night, and then imagine that going on for weeks and months, and it would be really devastating to your quality of life. Tell me, why is it so important if someone is in that situation for them to reach out to a professional like yourself, and how can they do that if they find themselves in need of support and help?
Sure. So, the first thing you want to do if you think something's going on, you always contact your doctor first and, let them know what's going on. Um, they do their medical tests and things, and they can let you know, hey, this is that most likely this is a behavioral sleep issue, like with you or your child. If you go and you're like, oh, they're not sleeping, I'm not sleeping, and they do their medical assessment and they'll tell you those keywords. Oh, this is behavioral. And whether it's you or your child, and then that way, okay, well, if it's behavioral, then most likely you can work on it. You can go to Google and look up sleep tips, and try to work on that. If you're somebody like me who kind of needs more accountability and you need somebody to kind of tell you, no, 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 you need to do this and this, and then let me know. Keep up with you as far as if you're doing the right thing, or no, don't do that. Especially with the children, I'll have parents, I tell them, okay, do these steps right here, and then they'll try to do their own variation of what I said, and I'm like, no, no, no. Remember, you hired me to help you because you weren't doing it right. So I'm trying to get you on the right path as far as getting your child to sleep independently. So you can reach out to a sleep coach. Because of the pandemic, a lot of us were on virtual status. So you could Google sleep coach, and you could find sleep coaches. I can share my information. I'm on Facebook and Instagram at Tonja, Tonja, B like Bravo, Sleep Consulting. So if you go to my Facebook or Instagram, you can follow me, but also you can reach out to me there, and send a message to me, or whatever you need, and I can help you steer you in the right direction if you're needing help with yourself as an adult, with sleep, or with your child. We have sleep consultants that work with, like myself, I work with babies and up to about 3 years old. Occasionally I'll take on a 5 or 6 year old, or depending on the family. And then I've got colleagues that work with teenagers, colleagues that work with adults. I also am starting to work with adults. So I can help steer you in the right direction as far as the specific person to match you. And, interview people. You can interview coaches to see who you kind of mesh well with and who you listen to and who you trust, and just do some interviews and pick the right person that you feel is right for you and your family.
Oh, that is fantastic advice, and we'll put her information on our our social media posts so everyone can find her easily, because when you're sleep deprived, it's good to have things right in front of you where you can find them, right?
Yes, exactly.
Tonja, is there anything else that you would like to share, or anything else that you would like to add about this awesome work that you do with families?
Well, I do want to touch a little bit on like mental health stigma. A lot of times there's also stigma about reaching out for help for your child and getting sleep, because you'll hear parents say, "Oh, that's normal. Oh, they'll grow out of it. You don't need to, get help for that." And then the mom is sitting there crying, and she's depressed because she's not sleeping and she doesn't know what to do, and people are shaming her
Mhm.
for reaching out for help. And just like with mental health stigma, there's no shame. We all have seasons in which we have some type of depression or anxiety. We may have family members who have mental illness, and it's nothing to be ashamed about. And we just need to come together as a community, and we need to help each other, reach out for help. Let's do what the other countries are doing, as far as taking the time off, reaching out for help, coming together as a community. And we've done that through this pandemic, how we've all come together, we're on Zooming and having Zoom parties and drive-by birthday parties and things like that. So we realize how much community really does matter in mental health, just not feeling isolated or alone. And so I just wanted to say that, there's a stigma out there with sleep. It's called sleep training. There's a stigma out there with mental health, and we just have to reach out for help, and don't worry about the stigmas. Everyone's going to have their opinion, but at the end of the day, it's how you feel and what's best for you and your family.
I think that is such an important message, and thank you for saying that, because there is a stigma, and there are barriers to seeking the support and care you need. And like Tonja just said, please, if you are struggling with any of these issues, seek help and get the support you need. That's a wonderful message for everyone. Tonja, thank you so much for taking the time to share your expertise with our community. We really appreciate it. And to everybody who's watched this, if you're struggling with sleep, we'll have her information out there for you. And please get the support and assistance that you need.
Yes, thank you so much for having me, and please reach out if you have any questions. Thank you.